Peace. What is up, everybody? Officially doing the very first live stream ever. So you are either watching, I have to turn the volume down here. Oops. All right, here we go. So I have everything going on my computer here. I'm gonna wait just a minute for more people to trickle on in. And basically what we're going to get into today is talking about meditation, how to do meditation, and why to do meditation, and including all the benefits of meditation and my own personal stories about meditation. I kind of figure we'll spend the next 30 minutes with each other, and any questions that you have, I will happily answer. So feel free to ask away. And like I said, I'm gonna wait just a little bit longer here because it looks like you guys are just trickling into the video right now. So what's up to those of you that are here? And by the way, let me know in a comment right here where you are from, where you're watching this from, because I can see all of your comments both here on my camera as well as down here on my laptop. We can actually chat with one another. So definitely don't be afraid to drop a question. All you got to do is, if you're on your iPhone or something like that, there's actually a chat box where you can just type in a question right there. And then there's also, if you're watching on YouTube.com, there's also a chat room right there that I have access to. So feel free to say what's up. Let me know where you're watching from. And like I said, I'm just gonna hold on a little bit longer here, maybe about another minute or two, and then I'll get going into some of the topics that I was thinking about sharing with you guys. This is really fun, by the way. This whole YouTube live situation, I'm getting pretty stoked about it. I like the idea that at any moment I can tell you guys what's on my mind. And sometimes I get really stuck with having to do like video edits and stuff like that. Some of my ideas stay in my head for way too long until I finally get them recorded and then edited and out into the world. So I figure as I'm doing that, I'm going to continue to do some of these live streams, and that way we can have more of a direct interaction with each other. And then I'm also still going to be producing videos and all that kind of fun stuff. So, all right, let's see here. Looks like we got a couple people tuning in. So I'm going to go ahead and start talking a little bit about meditation, and I guess I'll just start with how it first came across my path, or how I first got involved with it. And really, my path started with meditation through my musical adventures. Like, I grew up as a musician, so I was constantly utilizing my focus and exercising that tool of concentration towards my music, and that put me in a very meditative space. Also, as I've gotten older, I've learned that piano specifically, which is my instrument, that's what I play, it actually balances both hemispheres of the mind, because you have to use both hemispheres at the same time, sometimes doing rhythms like opposite from one another. So you really have to bring coherency between the hemispheres of your brain in order to just learn and perform music, specifically on the piano. So early on in my life, I feel like music was a natural form of meditation that I was doing, or what's known as like active meditation. And I was doing that since an early age. And then as I've gotten older, I needed an actual meditation practice that became a little bit more traditional, in the sense of sitting still, breathing, focusing on my breath, learning how to still my mind. And this became important to me because my mind began to be very overwhelmed with what was happening in my life about 5 years ago. And I hit a very large depression in my life, and it just basically, my whole inner experience took on a lot of turbulence. And I really needed to clear out that turbulence, and I needed to find a tool to help me do that. Because I really felt like at that time, I didn't have a tool. I didn't really know how to get myself out of some of that negative self-chatter that I was very much identifying with. Even though it was like I was split. I had these two different sides of my mind, and one believed in all my positive attributes and one believed in all my negative attributes, and would tell my positive self that the negative self was real and the positive self was false. It's like that internal battle. And in mythology and symbolism, we see that internal battle personified with the metaphor of the angel and the devil on your shoulders. And not to get on a huge tangent about symbolism, but all symbolism, all mythology is talking about your internal experience and trying to personify or bring into human terms stuff that's happening on your internal experience, on the internal experience. We're all going through similar experiences. So it turns out we all have these two voices inside of us. The voice that really believes in us and really knows our value, and the voice in us that totally does not believe in us and wants to sabotage everything that we dream of. And so when that voice of negativity became very dominant in my inner experience, I needed a tool. I needed some kind of way to be able to still my mind, because it was like too much to swing back into the positive. It was like there was so much momentum going in my negative thoughts that in order to get my brain back into a positive state, I would have had to make a huge jump. And I felt like there was so much momentum over here that I was stuck in, for lack of better terms. I felt like I was stuck in that negative mindset. And so I began to just look for a way that I could neutralize my mind. Instead of trying to slam over into positive thinking and hold on with false belief in positive thinking. And if the whole game is about belief, then false belief in positive thinking doesn't help you at all. So I do believe in the power of positive thinking, and I utilize that in my life and in my journey quite a bit. But ultimately, meditation gave me a tool where I didn't have to worry about positive thinking or negative thinking. I could just simply focus on not thinking. And that became way more enjoyable to me, because I wanted a way where I could actually just let go of my thinking mind and be able to come back into my now moment and not be overly concerned with what happened yesterday or what's going to happen tomorrow, but to just find peace here and now. I really needed that immediate relief. And I feel like most of us are looking for that. Most of us are looking for that immediate relief. And we are seeking it in very strange places. We seek it in relationships. We seek it in substances. We seek it in experiences. None of these things in and of themselves are bad. In fact, most of them, when used correctly, are beautiful. But the real mechanism of finding happiness lies within you, and you must find within you peace. And so meditation gives you a direct experience of this peace, which is what we think we're looking for. Well, in truth, it's what we're looking for, but it's what we think is inside the objects that we can go externally to find. Like, let's say I'm feeling this kind of way, and I think that if I go buy myself this really nice meal, it's gonna give me this happiness. Or if I go and spend all this money on this huge vacation, that's gonna bring me my happiness. Now, obviously, we need things like food. Obviously, vacations are incredible, but those things do not bring happiness, because they will ultimately end. They will ultimately have a beginning and an end, and if your peace is contingent upon something beginning, like having a new experience, not being in the one you are now, then that new experience will ultimately end. The goal is to find the peace in the here and the now moment, always, no matter what your experience is. Of course, it makes perfect sense that if you're on a vacation, it's much easier to find happiness in your now moment because you don't have all the responsibilities of life. But At the same time, why can't you have that same feeling and that same attitude when you're in your daily life? Why do we have to walk around so stressed all the time, even in the middle of our responsibilities? Is it mandatory that we stress out about our responsibilities in order to accomplish them? I don't think so. So, meditation gives you a direct experience of what it's like to let go of all responsibilities, all to-dos, all accomplishments, all goals, to relieve yourself immediately of all pressure. And then when the mind, in the beginning of your meditation experience, your mind will try to continuously remind you of the things you need to accomplish or the things it thinks you need to worry about. Hey, focus on this. Remember what happened yesterday? What about this tomorrow? And it just keeps coming up with all these new ideas. So the goal of meditation is simply to acknowledge when a thought comes into awareness and let it linger there and let it pass, instead of letting it come into awareness and then making the story about it, examining the thought further, adding thoughts onto that, and building up the momentum of that individual thought. Instead, as a thought pops into awareness when you're meditating, it's okay. That's not a problem. Your mind is going to constantly do this throughout the rest of your life. That's never going to stop. So as a thought comes in, that's okay. What we want to do in meditation is to be able to relieve that thought from our environment. And we do this in many ways. We can acknowledge thoughts with a loving kindness, and we can just simply say, I am meditating. Now is not the time to think about this, and then come back to your breath. Or as Pema Chodron, if any of you know who Pema Chodron is, she's one of my favorite authors and teachers out there. She talks about just acknowledging it by saying the word thinking. And by doing so, your mind will naturally come back to the observing state. So instead of even having to tell yourself a story, even if it's small, to get yourself back to the observing state versus the thinking state, then do it. But do it as quickly as possible. Acknowledge that you are thinking and come back to observing. And here's the thing. When you're new to meditation, this thought process will happen a lot. You might get literally half a second of no thought and then bam, more thoughts. It might be really short. But the truth is you can expand that like any muscle. Imagine yourself being a runner, and on day one of running, you can only go so far until you get tired. You can only go, let's say, about a mile, and then you are spent. You can't do any more, you're out of breath, you need water, you gotta relax, you gotta take it slow. But that's only day one, and that's only week one. When you get into it and you build it up, then that turns into 2 miles, 3 miles, 4 miles, 5 miles. You get you understand what I'm saying. So meditation is the exact same thing. The more time you spend in meditation, the more that space between your thoughts slows down. So then you can actually sit. And in my meditation experience now, I feel like I can sit for maybe about 5 full seconds without thought. Meaning I'm just right here. There's no, like the lake of water that is your mind, it's still. There's no ripples and there's no disturbances. If you really think about what the ego is doing on a constant basis, the purpose of our ego is to constantly bring to us concerns so that we, the spirit within the physical form, can be informed about what is going on in our internal experience. So when we are informed correctly, then we are capable of bringing that into the external world. We can bring that peace from within to the without. And so let's get back on the topic. I wrote a couple things down about some just simple topics I wanted to talk about why you should meditate. So the very first idea is that your peace, your internal sense of peace, is directly related to your breath. So if you are very stressed out, if you have a very stressful, disturbed inner experience going on, I bet there's not much of your day where you are focusing on deep breathing, meaning all of your awareness is just focusing down in your stomach and on your diaphragm specifically, and allowing yourself to breathe big, full, deep breaths as if there's no lion chasing you, as if there's no one trying to come around the corner and steal something from you. You're in a totally peaceful mood, and your breath dictates to your body, to the rest of your body, and to your mind if you are in a peaceful environment or not. So your breath is directly connected to your sense of peace, and that is a truth. So if you want to have a larger internal experience of peace, enlarge your breath. I made up words. You make a deeper breath, and that will have a deeper sense of peace develop in your mind. And here's the science that backs that up. If you research what is known as the sympathetic nervous system, that is your nervous system that responds to your fight or flight response. And so your fight or flight response is directly connected to what's called the sympathetic nervous system. And that means that anytime you get triggered, your sympathetic nervous system springs into action. You either directly attack the situation, or you run from the situation, or the third is you freeze in the situation. Okay, so those are your three options when you have your fight or flight and you're being hit with the sympathetic nervous system. The opposite of that is the parasympathetic nervous system, which is your cool down response. And your cool down response is only triggered when you are able to breathe deep and fully experience a peaceful, relaxed sense of breath. So if you actually allow your diaphragm to fully relax, it triggers internally on a physiological level your parasympathetic nervous system. So next time you feel very stressed, I want you to, as soon as you can, think internally to think about your diaphragm. How relaxed is my stomach right now? If you feel stressed out, your stomach is going to be tense. It's going to be firm. Your abdomen, just below your belly button, that whole part of your abdomen will be firm. It will be very solid. And even your belly itself. So the idea that I would give to you in this scenario is to relax all of your stomach muscles and allow your diaphragm to flow freely. And the best way to take a deep breath in is to begin by taking a deep breath out. So if you feel like you've just been having a lot of shallow breaths and now you really need to take in a big breath, sometimes it's hard to go from shallow to breathing in really deeply. So go from shallow to breathing out as much air as you can, and then breathe in a huge deep breath of air. And then just do that like 3 or 4 times. Just that alone restructures your parasympathetic nervous system to such a degree that you will already feel a very large change happen within those first 4 or 5 breaths. But the interesting thing about meditation is that you can expand that whole process. So you can literally expand the amount of time that you do this style of breathing, and in doing so, you expand this whole deep, rich internal space. And it has a psychological change inside of you. It gives relief to your mind. It brings your hemispheres into coherence. And it helps you to be relaxed and calm right here and right now. When we get stressed, we often think that we need something in order to relieve us of our stress. But what if that thing that we need is just a deep breath in order to find the relief of that stress. And then whatever it is that we think we wanted in the first place will either come naturally or it will pass. And yet we will have found the end result that we were looking for, which is the relief of stress. And this has some very, not just tangible, physical changes, but this has metaphysical or energetic changes, you might say. Because as your energy field becomes more coherent, which starts with meditation, stilling the mind, coming back into the heart center, and expanding your energetic coherence into the bubble around you, that expands. And this is not any kind of metaphorical talk anymore. This is literal scientific and metaphysical scientific talk. That your energy bubble actually expands around you to a much wider degree when you are in a place of internal peace and internal coherence. Now, why does that even matter? That matters because we live in an energetic universe first. We go around thinking that we're these bodies and we're these objects and blah, 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 but everything is energy. And so law of attraction is the only law it's the law I want to focus on for now. It's not the only law, but it's one of the most powerful laws, the law of attraction, which to me it has two forms, the law of attraction and the law of repulsion. There's two forms of this same energy. Whatever I am tuned to, whatever my mind is focused on, whatever my heart is focused on, that becomes like my energetic signature. And I am a walking, living, and breathing magnet. And so my signature is being sent out into my energetic bubble, but also into the universe at large. And everything then comes closer to me or further away from me, all depending upon that one energy signature that I have right here and right now. So if I have a high amount of my focus on lack and on dysfunction and on frustration and on stress and on how things are going wrong in my life and in my world, if I am focused on that, then that's what I'm tuned to. That's what my body is tuned to. That's what my energy is tuned to. So then I will put that into my energy sphere around me, and then I will attract things that are on the same frequency, which would be, in this case, things that are full of lack, evidence for lack, more experiences in my life based on lack, so that I have more to back up this internal frequency at first of this belief in lack. And then likewise, at that same moment in time, I would be repelling away all experiences of success, all experiences of relief from that lack, because my focus is on the lack, not on the relief of it. So I end up pulling the lack towards me, and I push away the solutions. I push away the things that would help me. And this is just the way it goes. This is why we need things like meditation to clear our minds, so we can set right intentions and have our focus be in such a place internally that we experience the opposite of my previous example. And to make that example, if you are focused on peace, love, and joy, and you bring those feelings into your heart space, you focus on all the things that you are grateful for, all the things that are going in your favor in your life, you see that the whole universe is constantly and therefore you are pulling that into your experience very fast. Now, both of these examples expand. That's a very popular sentence. What you focus on expands. Yes, that's true. And I'm trying to make it even more clear in this example. What you focus on entirely develops into something that takes on more and more shape. And it will never stop. The momentum speeds up greatly. So let's focus really quickly on, I have meditation help on my blog and on my website. If you're watching on my website, the tab over here is just the meditation tab. You can see it at imoneno.com/meditation. This is the URL right there, imoneno.com/meditation. Will show you a meditation program that I utilize it over the course of 21 days. So you can see for yourself how to do it on a daily basis. And you can also see how to be spontaneous with each day as it comes up. Each day has a different form of meditation. And so there's 3 forms of meditation that I'd like to discuss for today that you can explore more in the program, but also you can just explore these on your own, because these are ancient tools that have been left to us by our human brothers and sisters from before. And if we enable them and we enact them in our life, we will actually experience their benefits. So, first way that I would highly recommend a meditation is what is known as Samavriti meditation. Samavriti is Sanskrit, and it basically means counted breath meditation. And so the way that you perform the Samavriti meditation is you breathe in to the count of whatever number that you desire. Most people start with 4. And then you breathe out to either the same count, so you would breathe out to the count of 4, or sometimes you would double that number. So you breathe out to the count of 8, into the count of 4, and out to the count of 8. Now specifically what this does is when you breathe in at that speed and then you breathe out twice as slow, what this does is trigger your diaphragm, which triggers your parasympathetic nervous system, which triggers your relaxation response. And it's very easy for the mind to focus on counting. And the mind loves this kind of repetition, so it's easy to keep our minds focused on that. And then if you set a timer, a meditation timer for 10 minutes, and you just focus on doing that for 10 minutes, then when your timer goes, you will have passed 10 minutes and you will have been breathing this same deep, rich breath for 10 full minutes. And the benefits of that are huge. They are huge. They're so amazing. We'll get into some of the benefits after I share these other 2 forms of meditation. So, meditation number 2 that I would highly recommend for you is what's known as the Nadi Shodhana breath. Nadi Shodhana. It's spelled N-A-D-I, Nadi. Shodhana is S-H-O-D-H-A-N-A. Shodhana. And Nadi Shodhana breath is where my teacher first taught me to do it like this. Some people do it just simply like this. But I like to do it like this because it reminds me to keep my focus on my third eye. And what you basically do is you take the thumb and you block the right nostril and you breathe in through the left nostril, and you breathe in and focus almost like a visualization, the air moving in through this nostril and collecting up at the third eye. Sometimes the air can move in through the third eye and down the spine. But either way, in through the left nostril and collecting at the third eye, and then you exchange the blockage of the nose and you allow the air to come out your right nostril. That's your exhale. And then you breathe in through the right nostril, you block the other nostril, you let it go out the left nostril. So it goes back and forth, each inhale and exhale, and your hands are placed on your face like this. So then, as I breathe in my very first breath, I always start by blocking my right side. So I take my thumb and I block my right nostril. I breathe in through my left nostril and I envision the air moving up and collecting at my third eye. And like I said, sometimes I'll send this energy down my spine. And then I will change to now block my left nostril and allow my right nostril to be free. And then if I have allowed the energy down my spine, I bring it back up my spine to my third eye and out my right nostril. And then I reverse. In through the right nostril, down my spine, change. Then as I breathe out, the air comes up my spine and out my left nostril. And you basically just go back and forth. Again, set the timer for 10 minutes and just focus on that, and you'll become aware very quickly, especially if this is a new form of meditation for you. Your mind, it can do the whole gamut of things. It can love the process, it can also hate the process. But the point is that you are going to do the process. And by doing the process for 10 minutes, no matter what your mind says, you will reap the benefits of meditation. And over time, your mind will get quieter and quieter and quieter, and then it will become your best friend. It'll love this process. Okay, the third form of meditation I want to share with you is called silent meditation or stillness meditation. Now, this one I would only recommend for those people that have a continuous meditation practice, because it's something that I didn't really understand or incorporate in my meditation practice until about maybe 2 years into my meditation practice. And this form of meditation happened for me, very spontaneously. And basically, I always start my meditations focusing on my breath with one of those other two examples I just showed you. The Samavriti, the counted breath. So I count my breaths. That helps for me to still my mind and go internal. The other form that I just shared, the Nadi Shodhana, where you breathe in and out the opposite nostril, that helps me go internal. And then I will incorporate this third form of meditation I'm talking about, which is called silent meditation. By that point, if I have done, let's say, even 5 minutes of Nadi Shodhana breath, then it is much easier for me to now sit in silence and not have to actually focus on counting my breath, not have to actively focus on clearing my mind. And to give to our bodies in a relaxing way, simply because we definitely know how to push ourselves in our culture. What we don't always talk about is active relaxation, that choosing relaxation over being active is sometimes a smarter and healthier idea. So, but with that being said, active meditations are very, very beneficial because they do help to clear your mind and get you focused back again so you can become effective at manifesting your goals and your dreams all around you in your life. So what are some forms of active meditation then? Some of my favorite forms are going for walks in my neighborhood, going rock climbing, going swimming, playing music, not necessarily writing or creating, but just simply playing. That really gets me out of my thinking mind and just into the present moment of exploring the sounds of my instrument. Being with animals, if you love animals, which I certainly do, but I'm just thinking like it's everything from a dog to a cat to a horse to a turtle to goldfish. I mean, I don't know, whatever animal you thoroughly enjoy being around, be around it more, because that brings to you naturally a sense of peace and inner stillness. Because you can see most animals, they're masters of inner peace. Masters of inner peace. And we can just simply match their energy, and we are affected by them when we are around them, and they're affected by us when they're around us. What other forms of active meditation? Sometimes journaling could be considered a form of active meditation if you really can still your mind and you really can clear it out by actually dumping all your thoughts onto a page. That could be considered a meditation because you're not judging the thoughts, you're not trying to correct the thoughts, you're just letting them flow. There's many forms. So to wrap up this video then, let's recap a little bit of what we've talked about. Your breath is connected to your sense of peace. If your stomach is firm and hard and holding your stress, then you're not breathing deeply. So when you are stressed, as soon as you find that trigger, check in with your diaphragm, check in with your stomach. Is your abdomen relaxed? Does it feel like liquid water, or does it feel firm like stone? If it feels like liquid water, then you're in a good place. If it feels like stone, then breathe deeper. And how do you take a deep breath in? You start by breathing out fully. So you breathe out entirely, and then you breathe in deeply. Your sympathetic nervous system is attached to your fight or flight response. Your parasympathetic nervous system is attached to your cool down response. And both of these nervous systems are directly connected to the solar plexus in your body, which is connected to the diaphragm. So again, if you move your diaphragm and you take big, full, deep breaths, it triggers your solar plexus, triggering your parasympathetic, triggering your body to relax and to cool down. 3 forms of meditation. Actually, we did 4 forms of meditation. The first one was samavriti, which is a counted breath. You breathe in for the count of 4, you exhale to the count of 4. Or a modified version is you breathe into the count of 4, you breathe out to the count of 8. The second form of meditation we talked about was nadi shodhana, which is breathing in through the left nostril and then breathing out through the right nostril, breathing in through the right nostril, and breathing out through the left nostril. That is nadi shodhana. The third form of meditation we talked about was silent or stillness meditation, where you just simply focus on the silence around you, bringing your thoughts to stillness and just sitting there in undisturbed, perfect awareness. And the fourth form of meditation we discussed was active meditation, how you can get up, be active, go do something. But I highly remind you on this form of meditation, if you're going to be active, be present with the moment. So don't get lost into putting headphones on and putting sunglasses on and disconnecting from the world. Instead, do something that directly connects you with your now moment. So if you're running, just do it right in the moment and focus on your breath as you're running. Focus on the feeling of your feet hitting the pavement. Focus on all of the internal experience of what it means to run. And same with every other form of active meditation. And that's where we're going to wrap it up. So once again, if you want to know even more about meditation, please go to the website at OnenO.com. I love this app. It's so easy for me to do things like this. And check out the 21 days of meditation program that is officially up on the website. It's 21 full days. Each meditation is 15 minutes long, and it helps you develop a positive habit into your life. They say it takes 21 days to shape a habit into our life. So take these next 21 days, check out the program. If you use the coupon code ANAHATA, you can get a 33% discount. It's 1/3 off. So it's $14 for the 21-day meditation program. Otherwise, it's $21, which is $1 a day. The other thing I want to ask very briefly is that if you appreciate my channel and you appreciate these videos, I ask that you just click the donation button that's attached to this video, or you can also go to my website, which is again, OnenO.com, and there's a section called donations where you can actually donate on there as well. And the reason I am even asking for this is because I haven't put this officially into any of my other videos on my channel just yet. But as of the last year, I have officially quit all of my jobs, and I am now 100% of my time just making videos and doing this kind of stuff for you guys. So I would really appreciate it if you wouldn't mind just showing me your appreciation if you benefit from this. But ultimately, what I want to do with my channel is just to get the information out there. What I'm doing here is not about getting rich, but what I am doing here is trying to spend as much time as I possibly can sharing my passion for meditation with you. And what that means then is that I'm not out doing other jobs. And so if you can donate $1 or $2 or $5, it's so appreciated. And it helps me continue to do what I'm doing and living my passion, which is sharing the gifts and the tools of meditation that I have learned over the years. So thank you so much for watching this video. Thanks for taking the time to just be here. Subscribe to the YouTube channel for future live videos as well as my other stuff. Again, the website, IamOnenO.com. And until I see you again along the journey, oneness in sound, I am OnenO. Peace.